Tonight on WTOP-10 Nightly News, learn when violations will be issued to residents in Syracuse for new garbage can rules.
And how fans are mourning the death of the beloved TV star Matthew Perry.
Plus, hear what Cornell University is doing about anti-Semitic threats on its campus.
WTOP-10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. I'm Gabrielle Legatella.
And I'm Casey DeSalle.
Authorities at Cornell University are investigating a series of anti-Semitic threats made over the weekend. The school's president announced that threats were made against the Center for Jewish Living, which is the campus, kosher, and multicultural dining hall. Comments were made that encouraged violence against Jewish students on campus amidst the war between Israel and Hamas.
Cornell's Hillel organization warned students and staff to avoid the building out of an abundance of caution. The school says it does not tolerate anti-Semitism and is working to prioritize community safety. There's been a rise in anti-Semitic threats across college campuses as the war between Israel and Hamas rages on in the Middle East. Senator Chuck Schumer weighed in on this issue in Washington, D.C. this afternoon.
I'm sickened and frightened by the news that has come out of Cornell University, where over the weekend messages appeared on a non-campus online forum calling for violence against the school's Jewish community. Anti-Semitism is absolutely on the rise here in America, and we have a strong obligation to condemn this behavior whenever we see it, wherever we see it, and no matter who spreads it.
New York State Police will increase security on the Cornell campus following the threats as more and more action is being taken to keep this Jewish community safe. The City of Oswego hosted a swearing-in and promotion ceremony this evening for police officers and firefighters. The ceremony recognized several officers and firefighters currently within the ranks and swore in new firefighters and officers who recently completed their respective academics. Mayor Billy Barlow was in attendance and offered some brief remarks during the ceremony. The ceremony was held at Curtis Manor in Oswego tonight at 7:30 p.m. Following the ceremony, appetizers and drinks will be available for the public.
The city of Syracuse will begin fining residents who do not follow rules for using the new 96-gallon garbage containers distributed citywide in early September. The Public Works Department plans to begin issuing violations starting this week to residents who do not comply. Residents were given a 6-week grace period before violations would be issued in order to adjust to the new rules. Violators face fines totaling $100 if not corrected within 24 hours of the violation.
SUNY Oswego is getting a visit from a hot name in writing in the next few days. Reporter Ed Lundquist has the story.
This Friday at 5 p.m. in Waterman Theater, SUNY Oswego will host an event featuring renowned and award-winning author and journalist Ta-Nehisi Coates. Coates is the author behind a highly acclaimed recent run on Marvel's Black Panther comic series, as well as several other novels, including We Were 8 Years in Power and Between the World and Me. He has also written for multiple publications, including, but not limited to, The New York Times, The New Yorker, and The Village Voice. Coates is also involved in the screenplay for the upcoming Superman movie and a few others. His work primarily focuses on both fictional and non-fictional subjects involving civil rights, including stories of subjects like the Black Panther Party, the actual superhero, the Black Panther, as well as of slavery and institutionalized racism. Many of his works can be found in Penfield Library, so go have a look. Tickets are required for the event due to the demand, but are free to the public. Reporting for WTOP-10, I'm Ed Lundquist. Now back to the desk.
Thank you, Ed. It has been pretty windy and cold the past few days. Is it going to continue?
Let's take a first look at your forecast with Storm Team 10 Chief Meteorologist Evan Bedron.
Yes, it will be chilly. The wind will die down, though. We won't be seeing a lot of breezy, windy conditions, but there will be a slight wind chill as you head out the door tomorrow night as you go out for Halloween. And looking across our state right now, mainly cloudy, some lake effect here in Oswego, along with Buffalo and Rochester. And up here in Indian Lake, this is our first ever snowfall report. Spotter train spotters noticed some snowfall out there, so they put a report out, and that was our first ever snowfall for this winter. And there'll be plenty of more snowfall to come throughout the early parts of this week. But as we go throughout the rest of the week into the weekend, we will see that snow change over to some rain and over to some sun. I'll have more of my full forecast coming up after the break, but first, back to the desk.
Evan, thank you. Fans of the hit TV show Friends are remembering one of its stars, Matthew Perry, after his sudden death on Saturday. Perry's fans left flowers, notes, and other mementos outside an apartment building on the west side of New York City. The exterior of that building was frequently featured on Friends. Perry played Chandler Bing, a sarcastic but lovable member of the iconic six-person friend group. One fan says she's devastated and thinking of Perry's former castmates.
There's nobody like Chandler, so it's a terrible loss. It's unbelievable that he is not on the earth with us anymore. I can't imagine how the other friends are feeling.
Perry died Saturday at his home in Los Angeles from an apparent drowning. Police are still investigating the 54-year-old's death. A medical examiner will determine the cause of death after an autopsy is performed.
Such a sad story. I know our thoughts and prayers go out to his friends and his family, along with all of his fans. Still, ahead tonight, multiple people are injured after a shooting at a Halloween party.
Plus, Israel expands into Gaza. We'll be right back.
Class of 76, yes, way back in 76. Back when the earth was cooling.
Oh, what did you read?
WTOP.
Oh, the Israel story.
The Candlelight Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty.
The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think
can't.
you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of times.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I guess I have really been looking for love in this dating app. Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Welcome back to WTOP. I'm Storm Team 10 Chief Meteorologist Evan Bedron. Looking at AM commute impacts for tomorrow, 34 to 36 degrees will be your temperature as you head out the door. Some rain-snow mix though too, so be sure to be careful out on those roadways. It will be starting to get slick. With that 34-degree temperature, southeast wind about 3 to 6 miles per hour. We will expect that wind chill to maybe put the temperature a little bit below freezing. So you may notice some icy surfaces as you head out the door out on the road. Driving, bus, and walking all at minor impacts due to those slick conditions as you will head out the door tomorrow morning. And looking at your out the door forecast for tomorrow, again with those cold temperatures early in the morning, make sure to stay careful. At 9 a.m., 36 degrees, 39, 41 as you go throughout the rest of your morning into the afternoon. 3 p.m. we reach our high temperature about 43 degrees, very, very chilly. And along with that wind, expect that 43 maybe to even be in the upper 30s. And as you go throughout the rest of the day, around to 7 p.m., again, that temperature will drop down to 37 degrees. But that probably will feel colder because of that wind. That wind will be playing a big factor in a lot of these cold temperatures. Looking for your Halloween forecast, 9 p.m. as the kids are out trick-or-treating, 37 degrees. That rain-snow mix will be sticking around too as you go throughout the rest of your night. This will generally be mainly rain though, with these temperatures still just a little bit above freezing. But as you go through the rest of your night to around 10 p.m. when kids are starting to come in, 36 degrees, that rain-snow mix will be mainly snow. So if your kids are thinking about any new costume ideas, maybe go as an Eskimo because it will be very, very cold as you head out the door. Eskimo, very cost effective too. And as you go throughout the 7-day forecast, Tuesday, 43 degrees. Wednesday, 42 degrees with a low around 30 degrees. These two lows, though, will be below freezing, so make sure to stay careful due to these rain and snowy conditions as you head out the door and on the roads. And you go through Thursday and Friday, 46 degrees and 52 degrees. The sun will start to finally return to our area. But as you go throughout Friday into Saturday, those clouds will start to return. And with those clouds, the rain will also return. As you go throughout the rest of your weekend into Sunday, 54 degrees, rain will start to make its way into our area. But as you go throughout the rest of the weekend into early next week, the rain will start to taper off, and we'll just be sticking with some cloudy conditions. And with those cloudy conditions, the temperatures will start to fall back into the low 40s. And that was all for my forecast. Back to the desk.
Thank you for that, Evan. A woman is dead after being struck by a vehicle driven by her boyfriend in the city of Oswego. The Oswego County Sheriff's Department says 31-year-old Sienna Doyle was hit and killed on October 26 around 2 a.m. Video of the scene shows the driver, Julian Polge, attempting to brake before hitting Doyle. Her family shares she was pronounced dead upon arrival at Oswego Hospital. Doyle worked at Cheap Seats Bar in Oswego. On Facebook, the bar shared a post expressing their deep sorrow and plan to hold a candlelight vigil.
In Masonville, New York, on October 5th, an ECO police officer pulled a car over after noticing they were shining a bright light at a deer. The officer determined they did not have a permit and they had a loaded crossbow in the car. The two hunters were charged with use of a spotlight while possessing an unsecured crossbow and possessing a loaded crossbow in a motor vehicle.
More than a dozen people are injured after a shooting at a Halloween party in Chicago. Authorities say a gunman shot into the crowd and then tried to run away. Police say they quickly identified the shooter, arrested him, and recovered the gun. The victims were all between the ages of 26 and 53. Two of the victims suffered critical injuries. Israel is opening a new front against Hamas, launching ground operations into Gaza.
Here at home, more cases of anti-Semitism are under investigation. Gloria Pazmino has more.
Smoke rises from Gaza following a steady barrage of artillery. Israel moving ahead with what it says is the second stage in its war against Hamas.
Calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas, to surrender to terrorism.
Israel's military says it killed dozens of Hamas fighters overnight, including 4 prominent Hamas operatives. As the conflict escalates, the human toll continues to rise inside Gaza. According to Save the Children, more than 3,000 children were killed in Gaza over the past 3 weeks, as reported by the Hamas-controlled health ministry. Here at home, a series of anti-Semitic incidents on college campuses is raising alarms. Over the weekend, a series of anti-Semitic threats was made against Cornell University's Jewish community in a series of online posts, prompting Governor Kathy Hochul to deploy state police and increase security on campus.
I came here in person with one strong message, that we will not tolerate threats or hatred or anti-Semitism or any kind of hatred that makes people feel vulnerable.
And in Russia, an angry crowd in the mostly Muslim region of Dagestan stormed an airport Sunday where a flight from Israel arrived. Authorities were forced to close the facility and divert flights. In New York, I'm Gloria Pasmino reporting.
The war in Israel continues to expand, creating ripple effects across the globe.
In Fairfield County, Connecticut, there are multiple reports of vandalism on residential properties showing support for Israel. Police say they occurred in 2 separate towns early Sunday morning. Someone stole a sign showing an Israeli flag from someone's home in Weston, and 2 other yard signs were defaced with red handprints. A few miles away in Westport, a lawn sign showing the Israeli flag was similarly defaced. Police say they are actively investigating.
When WTOP-10 nightly news continues, the latest executive order by the Biden administration, how the president is trying to regulate AI technology.
And still, FDA is issuing a warning for users of certain eye drop products, the risks it says those users could face.
And it could be your last chance to see one occur for 2 decades, as the next time one will be visible over the continental U.S.
He's May 84. Yarrow told police in the hospital that he had pressed the doorbell and waited.
They mix with oxygen and nitrogen. They become briefly
What's going on?
Yeah, dude, we go on at like 11:30. It's like
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Matt, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow. Get a close up of that one. Matthew,
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Welcome back, and thank you for choosing WTOP-10 for your nightly news. In consumer news, the Food and Drug Administration is warning people not to buy certain eye drop products due to serious health risks. It says anyone who uses those products faces risk of infection that could lead to possible vision loss or blindness. The alert covers 26 over-the-counter eye drop products. That includes products marketed under the brands CVS Health, Rite Aid, and Rugby, and more. Several retailers are removing the products from store shelves. The FDA says it has not gotten any reports of eye infections associated with the affected products yet.
General Motors and the United Auto Workers Union have reached a tentative agreement. Both sides confirmed the news this afternoon. The tentative deal comes more than 6 weeks into the workers' strike and just days after the union expanded its strike at the nation's largest automaker. Just last week, the UAW reached tentative deals with both Ford and Stellantis. If rank and file union members vote to approve, the weeks-long strike may soon be over.
The federal government is investing more money into fighting against hate crimes. The Department of Justice is giving $38 million in grants to help communities across the United States, according to the DOJ. The total amount is more than the department awarded in the past 2 years combined. These grants come as threats against Jewish people, Palestinian Muslims, and Arab Americans are increasing since the war between Israel and Hamas had begun.
Through an executive order, the Biden administration is trying to regulate the power of AI and keep the technology developers accountable.
Mike Valero takes a look at the problems and prospects of AI and how the federal government is responding to the need for regulation.
Artificial intelligence technology is advancing rapidly, and the federal government is scrambling to keep up.
I'm about to sign an executive order that is the most significant action any government anywhere in
NBA Hall of Famer Magic Johnson is officially a billionaire. According to Forbes, Johnson is worth about $1.2 billion. The 64-year-old is the fourth athlete to join the Billions Club, behind Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. Forbes says the former Los Angeles Lakers star has earned more of his wealth from his majority ownership of the Equitrust insurance company. Also contributing to his billionaire status, Johnson's investment in sports teams.
An action-packed weekend of Lakers sports with both men's and women's hockey games.
And lots going on in the pro sports world, too. Zach Malamud joins us with more. Zach?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Regular season hockey is officially underway, plus what happened in Sunday's Battle of MetLife. I'll let you know after the break.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No, but you've got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
What's going on?
Yeah, dude, we go on at like 11:30. It's like.
No.
What do you mean no?
It's 10:30.
10:30?
Matt, it's 10:30.
What do you mean it's 10:30?
Hey, don't touch that. That's my ladder.
Hey, man.
Whoa.
You know this book was already discounted 10%?
Wow. Get a closer for that one. Matthew,
Broadcast news.
Look at that.
Can we go back inside? I want to sleep in the studio again.
Welcome back to WTOP-10 Nightly News. I'm Zach Malamud with your Monday Night Sports Report. Starting on the ice, the Oswego State men's hockey team began the regular season with a bang on Friday night, taking down the defending national champion and #1 ranked Hobart Statesmen by a final score of 3-2. In front of the Laker faithful, it was Tyler Flack's night. The senior forward tied it up at 2 with just 1:37 to go and then slammed the door shut in overtime with a one-timer past Damon Beaver, sending the Deb into absolute mayhem. Since the poll began in 2006, this was Oswego's 4th win versus a #1 ranked opponent and their first since a win against Plattsburgh back in 2009. We move to the women's side of things, where the Lakers swept a weekend doubleheader against William Smith, both by a final score of 3-2. Friday was that type of night for Laker hockey, as Tessa Mucha also grabbed a late winner, this one with 56 seconds on the clock down in Geneva. Forward Ashlyn McGrath continues to put the puck away, scoring 2 crucial goals on the weekend. The junior has now scored in each of her last 3 regular season games dating back to last year. The Lakers head north this weekend with matchups against Plattsburgh and SUNY Canton on the horizon. Staying on the ice, the Buffalo Sabres trounced the Colorado Avalanche in a 4-0 demolition on Sunday afternoon. Sabres forward J.J. Peterka scored the game winner in the first period for his 4th goal of the season, while team points leader Jeff Skinner added to his tally with 2 assists on the afternoon. Buffalo will get a few days off before a home-and-home against Philadelphia starting on Wednesday. From the ice to the hardwood, the New York Knicks will be back in action on Tuesday night when they get a primetime matchup against a familiar foe in the Cleveland Cavaliers. It's been a disappointing start to the season for New York as they sit at 1-2. Cavs star guard Donovan Mitchell will be looking for revenge from last season, where he was held to his 2nd lowest point total in his postseason career. New York versus Cleveland tip-off is set for 7:30 tomorrow night. We take things to the Battle of MetLife. We start in the first quarter as the Jets taking on the Giants. Giants up 3-0. Jets quarterback Zach Wilson finds Breece Hall out of the backfield, jukes a couple players down the sideline. He goes 50 yards to the house, one of 6 catches on the day for Hall. We jump to the third quarter. Giants have it 3rd and goal. Former Syracuse quarterback Tommy DeVito in there for New York, and he has his first NFL touchdown, gives the Giants a 10-7 lead. The Jets will tie this one as time expired in the 4th, and in overtime, Greg Zuerlein buries it from 33 yards out, and the Jets walk it off, moving to 4-3 on the year. Giants drop to 2-6, and it's Zuerlein who is the hero for New York. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
With sports and news and what to do, we're here for you. It's your TV, you're watching WTOP. Your TV, thanks for watching WTOP.
For a spooky and fashionable story, tomorrow is Halloween, and to celebrate, one photographer is releasing a book showcasing years of costumes worn by New York City subway riders.
For nearly 2 decades, photographer Seymour Light has been documenting spooky partygoers on the subway.
His book, called Halloween Underground, shows subway riders showing off their Halloween spirit.
He says his work showcases the fantastical yearly ride underneath the city that never sleeps.
So I have to ask, guys, what did everyone go out for Halloween this weekend? What were your costumes? Do we have any coming up tomorrow night?
I was Marty McFly.
Oh, actually,
Back to the Future.
All right, all right.
For tomorrow night, I mean, it's going to be too cold for me to go. I'm going to stay inside where it's warm. I don't feel like going out and catching a cold in that cold temperature.
This past weekend I was shaggy. I have no idea what I'm going to be tomorrow, though. So
yeah, I think I'm gonna stay in and do the trick or treating with the kids. Wait and let them come to me and celebrate their costumes.
Yeah, definitely sounds right.
Yeah. What about final weather? Can we have a look at that?
So yeah, tomorrow night again, like I said, it's gonna be very cold, rain snow mix again with Wednesday night, and as you go through Thursday and Friday, the sun will finally return, but those temperatures will still be staying in the low 50s. And then rain returns later in the weekend too, so another washout of a weekend, just like the past 3 or 4 weekends we've seen here in Oswego. So no insight for this rain or cold temperatures.
What about the sports coming up this week?
So actually a lot of them this weekend. The Lakers, the men's hockey team's at home, 2 games on the weekend, Friday and Saturday, and they're also, watch out for the women's soccer team. They're in the playoffs right now, a semifinal game against Cortland this weekend down in Cortland.
Exciting games, exciting games. Well, that's our report for tonight.
Be sure to stay tuned for the interview show.
Thank you for watching.
Have a great night, everyone.